Good afternoon.
Good morning, Ziba, or good afternoon. No, it's not afternoon
Wherever.
yet. Good morning, Ziba. So great
Hi.
to have you here. I'm just waiting for you to appear.
Do
There you go.
you better?
Oh, wait. I am going to introduce Ziba Ansari Orlando. Did I say that correctly?
Perfect.
She began her professional career as a pharmacist 17 years ago. After the birth of her daughter Isabella, her soul called her to work with parents and continue the spiritual journey that she had begun over a decade earlier. By bringing together her background in pharmacy, along with certifications in energy medicine, yoga, and parent coaching, wow, she envisioned and founded A Heartful Path. A Heartful Path is a way of living, parenting, and being that permeates each step of our lives. Her goal is to help parents, grandparents, educators, and society at large, boy, do we need you, to lead from their heart and brighten the light in this world through conscious parenting and empowered choices. She believes the connection between caregiver and children is strengthened and realized when caregivers can connect to their own core. She embraces concepts such as energy, power, and play early in children's growth and development. The parenting journey, she believes, can be peaceful and blissful when both the parent and child can create connections from the heart and share in the well-being of all. Ziba is also a certified simplicity, parenting discipline, and guidance group leader, and believes that when parents can simplify their children's life, a deep healing is possible. So Ziba, welcome. Your talk, because we got a few minutes late start, we're going to wind up going a few minutes into the next talk, but we've already spoken with Brian about that, and it's not going to be a problem. So
Great.
let's take it away, Ziba.
I will take it away. I just want to say that it was wonderful to watch Dr. Karen bits and pieces of her presentation, and also Christine, because I don't know if you know, but this very much lends into some of the things, not all. And it's a great trio dynamic to offer the audience. I do have a slide presentation I wanted to share. So if that's okay with you all, I love to see your faces one by one. And so I'm hindered a little bit by the slides, but shall it be, I will share my screen and go from there. And please do go ahead and try to keep an eye on the chat as well. So here we are, and taking a deep breath as I go ahead and bring my slides up, of course. The part that we all tend to hold our breath in, right? Like the technical things. So I don't quite know what is going on, but I'm trying to press.
Try
There we go.
this. Here.
There we go. So I got that going, and if I can get you guys to be available on chat as well, I would like to have it available. So today, we're going to be talking a little bit. I'm sorry. How do I take it to slideshow but go at my own pace?
Shannon, I think you just press the.
Yeah, it just is going to go forward, and I don't want it to.
It's the very bottom. If you go Ziba, you see the very bottom on your left hand side. Oh no, you were actually sharing the just your screen, which was perfect. But
Okay,
redo it again the way you did it.
there you go.
Perfect. And then at the very bottom on the left hand side on the pink where your presentation is, it's so light you can't see it.
Yeah, it's okay. It's so light. There it is. Thank
There.
you.
You're welcome.
What do I look
Oh,
for?
not that, not the circle. Yeah, there, the arrow. No, come back to the front. No. Go back.
The other way.
The other way. Yes, right there. You press that and I keep going.
Okay, and that allows me to go manually.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. So like I said, take a deep breath in. Let's get resettled in with our energy, because we'll be talking about energy. And my topic is nurturing your sensitive child with intention, intuition, and of course, following the beautiful talks, A Sacred Heart. So everything is energy. We are energetic beings. And as Nikola Tesla says, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. If this is new to you, I welcome you to the presentation. If it's a reiteration, then let's all dive in and heighten our energy. The reason I chose this is because whether you are in a blended family dynamic, a single parent, or a traditional nuclear family, it is a universal language. So if we can understand the vibration at which we are emanating and existing in this world, then we can all make a change, no matter what family dynamics we're coming from. So our cells have a positive, negative charge. Our hands have polarities of north and south. Our hearts are palpating and can be electronically monitored on an EKG. So we are energetic beings. To set the stage, I want to start off with a story about my daughter. So she is 6 years old, and this is a recent story with her and I. At about a week ago, she had a presentation, a theatrical performance of the show Matilda. If you have seen that show, go ahead and pop it into the chat so I can get some chats going here so I can see you in my feed on the side. And so basically it was back to back. And you can imagine for a 6-year-old, that might be too much, having two performances, one after another. And so at the beginning, she was full of bright light and energy, and her charisma and her personality was there, and high on energy, right? But also performing as she was beautifully doing. And by the second night, we had some relatives and friends visiting from afar, and I wanted to take some photos. And so she hesitated. And for a moment, she said no. And then she agreed to take a photo or two. So I noticed her initial hesitancy. And what I ended up doing is saying, can we have a few more? And we did. And at that moment, it was very evident that she wanted to go home. So I had two paths to choose. I had the path of being a nurturing mother and being receptive to her needs, or I had the path I could choose of somewhat being a critic of her emotions and what she was going through. If you understand these two dynamics, pop in the chat that yes, you can kind of figure out what was going on. So what I decided to do is I said goodbye to my way, and I said hello to our way. And what happens with my way is that there's a constriction of energy of my body. There's control that comes in, and it's mostly driven by ego, right? It's mostly driven by my agenda, and judgment comes in, judgment either for myself or my child, or from others to me, or from others to my child. But when I chose our way, I opened up my heart. I was able to see bigger truth. I was able to see her for who she is. My energy expanded. And with that, my intention and my flow turned a different direction. That sort of sums up what I meant by a heartful path, right? Choosing to go in that direction. So immediately having chosen that path, I picked her up. There was a split second where my mind just got a download of, okay, this is what we're going to do. I picked her up. I hugged her. I remember her chest being next to mine. And I, for a split second, made that intentional connection with our hearts. I put my other hand behind her and I supported her back. And from there, I said, I am your ship and you are the pirate. So let's go find your friend. And that little, what seemed like a microsecond, but to her was profound. I felt her body, which was stiff and tight and relaxed, her moaning or her, little bit of angst about taking photos, relaxed. And then she engaged. She engaged in what story we were going to do together. And so you can see that just by that dynamic shift, we were able to connect and we were able to bond, and we finished our story. Soon after that, walked to the car. And there's nothing more beautiful than to see your child shift. And at that moment, she said to me, "I love you, Mom. You're the best." And it was just, I knew that I had listened to her, and I knew that I had done something that was good for both of us. So going on to look at beyond my daughter, looking at today's landscape, right? So let's paint a picture of the landscape that our children, your children, our children are growing up in, right? It's not all rosy and peachy, and we know that. So author, educator, founder of Simplicity Parenting Institute, Kim John Payne says, there is an undeclared war on children. That's pretty heavy, right? There is just way too much, too sexy, too soon, too young, and it's become normalized, right? Our parents, blended, single, nuclear family, are all occupied from weekdays to weekends, one job to two job, making ends meet. And then the impact of what we're in, the social media world, the gaming industry, the television, all of that has a profound effect, not only on our energy, of course, but how we carry our lives forward. And have we taken away that sacred time of meals together as a family, where we can actually make eye-to-eye, heart-to-heart contact and share our memories for the day and have those deep person-to-person connections? So you get the idea of what's going on. And what we need to do is really pause and reassess. And what I wanted to share with everyone from all walks of life is, if you come from a blended family, there will be trauma, right? If you come from a nuclear family or single parenting, there is trauma. And so what I try to do with this ABCD formula of heartful parenting is to raise again the vibration of those families, because with that vibration, we can heal the wounds, we can heal the trauma, we can heal the pain that people are going through. So A stands for allow compassion and gratitude to fill each moment of your day. And why gratitude? Gratitude vibrates at a frequency of 540 million hertz, which is almost close to what love vibrates at. And so if we're vibrating at that, can you imagine the attunement of your energy with your child? And needless to say, the mirror neurons that are firing in response to you vibrating in that moment with gratitude and compassion. And many of the speakers before that talked about the benefits of vibrating at a compassion and bringing that into the world. B is being present. We go back to those distractions. We go back to attuning to our children. When we're present, we're modeling for our children. We're modeling to them that you are important. You are valuable. You are of essence. I brought you into this world to take care of you. And it is so hard. I get it. We have things on our phones that are schedules and calendaring. There's things that we're planning for them. There's shopping we're doing for them. We're answering phone calls related to their way of life, right? And it is hard, but we do our best to be present. C stands for connecting at the heart center, right? So we are talking about the electromagnetic pull of the heart being 5 times stronger than the mind. And if you haven't heard this already, but there is more messages going from our heart to our mind than there is from the other way around. So there's a ripple effect when we connect. And as a biologic parent, when you are involved with disciplinary actions, you may have obviously heard the term connect before you correct. So first we want to make that connection, and then we want to be correcting. And as the step parent, you can be holding that vibration of love, even if you aren't taking the disciplinary action, because that vibration is what's creating that entire family dynamic for everyone to feel. And so you go on to D, and yes, it is so easy to see the negativity of life. And with that, the things that are going wrong with our children, either something they did or some way, shape, or form that we're dealing with a struggle. Should be a neurodivergent kid, should be a autistic kid, should be anything. And it's difficult, but at the same time, we can keep in the back of our mind that D means define your child by their goodness, by their wholeness. Remember, several of the speakers talked, I think Christine right before this said, we come in so pure. And my time is ticking and I'm getting very passionate. I can see I'm not going to make it all the way through. So I'm going to speed up just a tiny bit as respect for others. So they start their life knowing that you are so whole and you are so appreciated. And that lays the foundation for them to have success in their life. So the gist of my conversation today is that we're going to focus a little bit on highly sensitive people because we understand the background, the landscape, but if we understand our children even more, then we can bring them the knowledge and skills to better take care of them. So who is Elaine Aron? She is the author, researcher, and psychologist who coined the term the highly sensitive person, and of course, highly sensitive children, HSP and HSC. It's a trait. If you're not familiar with it, it is not a mental disorder. It is not a disorder. It's parts of the brain are working more reactively than others. You're either born with it or not. And about 20 to 30% of the world population is an HSP. As many men and as women can have this trait. And most people think you're an introvert, but there are HSPs as well that are extrovert. Important for family dynamics to identify is that both parent or child can be highly sensitive, or you can have a parent be and a child not be. And vice versa, something to keep in mind. As you walk away, you may remember this acronym that was coined by Elaine Aron, DOES. And D stands for depth of processing. So when you are identifying if a parent or a child is highly sensitive, the most important of these is this depth of processing. So what does that mean? They reflect a lot, these people. They're empathic, they're listeners, they're deep feelers, and they may take a long time to make decisions. Some of the things that go with depth of feeling. The one and only negative trait is under O, where they may be overly stimulated. E stands for emotional responsiveness and empathy. So imagine taking in the world as a much more sensitive and more details, and that explains the S. I'm speeding up just a little bit. Some of the traits, challenges, and needs are outlined here quite a bit. But as you progress in life and you identify more of an adult or as in a child, for example, creativity can show up very deeply in children from the beginning. And then fear of some of the challenges of fear of criticism, because they can feel stuff so much deeper, right? And their needs, they need to have simplification. We talked about that overstimulation, and they need grounding in order to reset. So as you connect back to the story that I shared with you, what I was trying to portray is that as we connect to our children, as we understand who they are, and we're aware of the world that they live in, we can better arm ourselves with the knowledge and skills to take care of them. And remembering that identifying someone as highly sensitive or having traits of it is not all that they are. They are made of different parts. So all those parts make who they are. So we want to make sure that we identify as the whole and not just that one piece that we know about. And again, attunement enables parents to find a deeper set of tools and bring that into their child's needs and organize, finding activities and environments to bring in that are harmonious with the environment, and things that bring a disorganized energy to be able to either eliminate them or minimize them. So really, really speed diving into this. So I talked about the external landscape, and I thought it would be important to paint the picture of the internal landscape of a parent. Because if you're going to be functioning from that deeper state of intuition and groundedness, there's a couple of things that would work to practice along the way on a daily basis. So the parental landscape on the far left, you want to think of setting your nervous system to be on calm more often than not, on the parasympathetic rather than the fight flight sympathetic. So I work with clients to walk through things like meridians, energy channels that affect their bone, their tendon, their emotional experience, so many things that are affected by chakras, auras. I do muscle testing. And then folks that don't want to get that deep, we start off with just yoga, exercise, physical exercise, endorphin release, and just the basic, just to make it aware that we are all so chest breathers. We're up here holding it tight again, right? And what we want to do is we want to be deep breathers. In the center, again, painting the landscape, you want to think of taking a paintbrush. So everybody imagine a paintbrush in your hand. And this paintbrush is going to be your mindset, right? So mindset was a term coined back in 1930s. And basically what you want to think about is you're going to have a reset of those habits of the mind that come from previous experiences. So if there's good experiences, you can paint them brighter so they show up. If there's experiences that you want to paint over and replace by more positivity, more curiosity, what you want to do is enter a state of love for that critical intuition to rise. Love for the intuition to become apparent. And the final picture is you want to tap into your senses. Some people may be clairsentient. You may be familiar with these terms. So having this clear feeling, just knowing, getting a download and knowing this is my gut feeling, I get it. Or you're clairvoyant, clairaudient, terms that I'm familiar with. I'm not sure what population I'm speaking to would be familiar with. These are our ways of getting to get more knowledge about the world that aren't just through books or life experiences. And any grounding that we do to provide a basis for us to get that intuition and trusting it is very important. And Stuart Shanker said, when you see a child differently, you see a different child. So imagine if we change our lens and our landscape, how we would see our children from there. The 4 S's, I like to talk about this because no matter what foundation we have, we still need some go-to in terms of taking care of our stress. So very quickly, it talks about self-awareness. Every day is a choice point. Do we go into the same reactionary, unconscious choices, or do we make a conscious choice and respond to situations with our children? Because there can be such a dynamic of upset in blended families because we're starting new and having to build that foundation. So being aware of our choices, choice point, self-care can be an entire topic by itself, and it seems so simple, but yet some of the most simple things are the fundamental things that I see parenting scarcity in. So we need to have sufficient sleep. Sometimes those are the basic conversations. Oh, today went so much better. Oh, do you know why? Can you identify? Well, I actually got to bed on time, or I put my cup of coffee aside and I replaced it with a glass of water. Or I did the energy techniques that you told me for about 3 weeks, and I'm starting to feel the difference in my body. I'm choosing to make healthier decisions about what I eat. Such simple things that can have profound effects going forward in our family dynamics and with our children. We talked about heart listening. I'm going to skip over sacred listening. And you may have already heard me talk at the beginning about gratitude. And if you don't have some kind of gratitude journal, I encourage you to start or mentally start making pointers about how you want to intentionally bring gratitude into your life. So in summary, a heartful parent is one who connects to your sacred script, not the perfect parent script that was handed to you or is on social media. It's your own script. It's one that comes up with their own family's unique values and their own family needs and addresses those. One who prioritizes self-care and makes it part of the routine in the family and models that for the children as well, knowing that a lot of stress can arise on a day-to-day basis, resetting the nervous system. Remembering to breathe, deep diaphragmatic breaths, and slowing down, and allowing our children and all that goodness we talked about, allowing them to express their passions, to follow their talents and interests, and keep their light on, right? So there is no perfect way to parent. There is only the path that's driven by our own innate heart energy, and from there, we'll find the answers. On my website, there is this acronym empowerment that targets a lot of the things that I talked to you about today, which included presence and energy work and connecting with the heart, respecting the uniqueness of your children, and some of the other areas that we don't touch upon today in terms of nurturing our own inner child and taming some of that negative talk that may arise in our family dynamics. So remember the picture that we looked at in the modern society and remembering what our sensitive children may need. Why don't we go ahead and paint the picture for thriving? So how do we balance that fast-paced world with an overwhelming aspects of society? Few things, and we're almost at closure. You have more pauses in your day. You check in, close your eyes. You receive about 80% of the stimuli of the world through your eyes just by simply cupping your hands over your eyes and taking a moment. That would be one way to calm down your nervous system anywhere and everywhere. Having stress management techniques come into your life, reducing the overstimulation, as we talked about, it was happening with my child, and the noise and the lights that can lead to them needing more downtime. I work through grounding, touching the earth with your feet, more walks in the park, and the energetic exercises. So in summary, we replace the to-do list with a being list, right? And as Albert Einstein said, you want to match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. There is no other way. So these are a set of, we won't go over them today, but I wanted to show you this would be something of a free gift that my clients would be, anyone on this talk or others would be able to get, is a 20-minute free consultation. And I would walk through these energetic steps with you and explain what they do, and maybe something you're going through that would necessitate a different type of energetic work, something that works in your daily routine to start with as a baseline. And this image is a picture that I was inspired by my daughter to write, and it was an ABC book of ways that can be a conversation starter for parents, caregivers, educators to have with their children somewhere between infancy to the teens. And this item, along with the one that I had, are the two choice items that if you access via this QR code, so I just put your camera up and you can go ahead and access these two gifts by sending me an email, and I'd be happy to share that with you. You can go directly to my website, A Heartful Path, with Heartful with one L, or my Instagram site. And from there, if Adina, if you, let me see if I can paste this myself. If I can't, then we can somehow later, after the next speaker starts talking, we can go ahead and show this one. So from there, good, everyone is still there. Thank you for listening. Thank you for
That was
being
wonderful.
engaged.
I wanted to give people a minute or two to actually ask you questions if they have any, but we only have about 2 minutes, I think. 3 minutes. 3 minutes.
No problem. No problem. Yeah. Yeah, I was trying to speed up through that, watching the time clock to allow any a few minutes at the end.
And for those of you who joined us later, that was a lot of you actually came for this wonderful talk, which I gained some really great nuggets. This QR code up here is if people want to upgrade to VIP, which means they get all the recordings and all the extra gifts that speakers are offering to VIPs, which is in the dashboard, by the way, if you want to know what they are. Questions? Do we see any golden hands?
Just wanted to say thank you, a huge thank you, Ziba, with regards to your presentation. Very touching, and it's really, we're all a form of energy. So
That was great.
Well, thank you for having me. Thank you for this opportunity to offer this to the world, and for everything you've done to put it together.
thank you.
Great to have you.
So
I don't-
so we hit our camera on your Adina or Rise your
We
the,
could
the square for her contact or for
her contact information. I was waiting for Ziba to paste it in there, but
I will go ahead and paste it. I will,
Okay.
yeah. Thank you,
that would be
Christine.
great.
Oh, thank you. That's wonderful.
Yeah, our QR codes are just to upgrade to the VIP, so that's for all the recordings.
Yeah, and thank you for seeing so many people here. We're super excited, and there's so many amazing speaker and some speaker before too. It's really definitely worth it. I know it's for me as the host of the summit. I took so much out. So yeah.
Yes.